Hello to all of you. Thank you very much for joining this webinar. Today we have a release webinar and it's the 21st of April 2022 and the version is called April 2022. As you can see here on the screen, we have 5 major topics to cover, not saying that the other product improvements are minor, they could still be large, but these are the 5 that we will highlight in the presentation and then we'll just cover the remaining ones at the end. If you have any questions, comments during the presentation, please use the chat log. We'll try to answer the questions as quickly as possible. If we do not reach it during the presentation, please do accept that we'll get back to you afterwards. The session is being recorded, so if you have colleagues or if you want to revisit the recording afterwards, of course, you'll get a link with the recorded version, which will be made available soon after. We'll just jump to the next slide. And with me today, I have Ekle. Ekle is our digital marketing manager, so she facilitated all of this, and she'll also be available in the chat log in case you have any questions related to marketing. I also have Christoph with me. He's the main speaker today. Christoph is our team lead, and he knows the product in and out. So potentially some of the questions may be to him. So it could be that at the end, if we do have time, we do have 90 minutes, but I knew that we will need all 90 minutes. But if there's room left, then of course we'll cover some of them at the end. My name is Mikkel, and I'll be here from the commercial perspective. So if you have any questions there, please do let me know. Great. Just a short introduction. Last time we had a release in January, we made a number of additional apps. This time, we actually made the new features available within the existing apps. So it means that you don't need to install anything in addition if you already have the relevant apps installed. So as you see on the screen, we have 7 available apps, and they're all depending on Dynaway EAM, which you see on the left. We'll click on the next one. Yes, you all know it's only cloud-based, but if we click the next slide, you'll see that one of the questions that we get quite frequently is that, do I have to uninstall my app, my extension, and reinstall it? No, you don't have to do that. Please just go to the Business Central Admin Center. And as you can see over to the right, there are some actions to be carried out. One of them will be install update. Here you will actually be able to install the update for Dynaway specifically. And if you decide to upgrade your BC environment to version 20, it will update automatically. A small disclaimer in the corner, even though we do test, Microsoft also makes tests. I do really recommend that you put it into UAT and Sandbox first, making sure that everything works like you expected it to, and then you put it back into production. So that's really good advice. That was the short introduction from my side. As I said, questions, use the chat log. And if there's anything, nobody who can hear the sound, of course, do get back to us and we'll try to help you there. But I will leave the stage to Christoph. Christoph, you take it away.
Yeah, thank you, Mikkel. I hope you can hear me.
We can.
Yeah, all right. So I would like to present you today those few features which Mikkel said at the beginning. You've seen on the slide. So let's start from the multiple counters for the asset. And what is all about? We already had a feature related to the counters in the past release. In fact, from the beginning, but from some customers and also partners, we get information that one counter for the asset is not always the case. Sometimes we need to have more counters for the same asset. So as an examples like running hours, idle hours, and tracking both of those things, or for example, running hour of the machine, but also the quantity which was produced on this machine. So that's something which we couldn't do before, but now it is possible. What I should mention that the change which we made is little changing the interface of the application. Instead of fields, you will see in a second, and there is a list. However, when we're doing the upgrade, existing customers and your environments will also be upgraded, so you don't need to worry anything about it. It should work exactly the same as you are working right now. Of course, registration of the counter values has not been changed. That works exactly the same as it was, but a little different it looks on the asset card, work order plans, and work orders. So let me just jump into the Business Central. You should see now my Business Central. So let's go to the counters. And that's how it was before. So we can create counters, like for example, I have here. So let me just create two new counters, one for the running hours, right, for my machine. So let's call it running hours motor. Running hours motor. I will just put it into brackets. And one thing which we need to put is a counter category. So you can have multiple counter categories. I have, in this case, for example, running hours, idle time, but of course I can also have produce quantity. So let me just create a new category. So quantity. Right, I can put also days of trend. So and this is what I can, oh, I put it running hours. Okay, so let me just change it, running hours. That's one. We also did quite a lot of changes to the counters itself in the work order plan, but I will just show you later. Let's create another counter. So this will be quantity, and again, motor. And I will just also put it motor. And in this case, I will just put my category, which will be quantity. So as you can see, I don't have any assets here which are mounted, right? So let's go now and mount this counter to one of my assets. So if I will go to the assets, and let's just find my motor. You can see that I have information about the counters here, so I can just choose the counter categories. And in this case, I will choose that we are registering on this machine running hours, and we also registering on this machine quantity. As you can see, I cannot choose twice the same asset category, right? That's why I need to choose those which are needed. So if I would like to mount the counter, you have here information to mount the counter. But to be honest, I see that it's much easier to just click this button here. And in this case, I will choose the running hours of my motor. So this will be this counter, which I have here. Okay. I didn't do any reading yet for this. That's why it asked me to create a first reading with 0 value. So I will just click OK. And as you can see, I already have a motor running hours counter registered or mounted to this asset. And the same I will do with the quantity. So let me just choose the quantity. You can see that I only see the counters which are from the same category. So it's quite easy to mount it. It will have the same story, so we didn't do any reading, so I will just mount it. And as you can see, at this moment, I have mounted my counters. I have 2 of them. So now I'm able to start doing creating work order plans for that. So let's go and create a work order plan for our motor. Oh, I already have something, but I will just create a new one. So the motor is all ready. Let's choose some description, running hours and description, and some category. So let's say it can be electric inspection, it doesn't matter so much. But now let's choose the counter. So when I will choose the counter, system will ask me which counter I would like to use, right? In fact, which counter category. So in this case, I will choose that I would like to track or set a maintenance for the running hours. And if you didn't click or didn't set up it yet, so now we need to say how many hours we would like, or how many like when we should when we would like to do the maintenance. So for example, I would like to do the maintenance every 250 hours. Right, so this is what I can set. But in this release, we added few more options for that, how it should be. So this will tell me that I will do every each maintenance every 250 hours. And when we will reach those 250 hours, system automatically will create a work order for this particular plan. But we have two options here more. So actual and fixed. What is the difference between those two? If we set up actual, it means that we will count 250 hours from the last reading. So if I will finish my work order on 260 hours, it means that the next maintenance will be planned for 510 hours, because 260 plus 250 is 510, if my mathematics is okay. But if we will change to fixed, it means that even if I will finish my maintenance 490 hours, I will have always 250 between triggering. So if I trigger it on 250, it doesn't matter when I finish it. Next one will always be 500. So this is like additional option to what we had before. But then we also heard that sometimes the work order should be triggered before we will reach 250 hours. So that's something which you can find in Offset. I think it's more advanced feature, that's why it's not seen automatically, but you can set up the interval or as a unit or as a percent when you would like to trigger the work order. So if we have 250 and I will put 10 units here, it means that when we will reach 240 on this counter, the system will automatically automatically create a work order or suggest to create a work order, but it will also suggest the date when we will trigger those when we will reach those 250. In the percent, if I will put 10%, it means that my work order will be triggered or will be suggested to be triggered 250 minus 10% of 250, so 225 hours. If we will reach on the counter, it will automatically suggest the work order. We already also covered that part with our one of our webinars which we had. So I would like to encourage you also to watch that part as well, but I wanted to highlight this also here. So this is how you can set up multiple counters for the work orders. And let me just do that. We will just create this work order on 250. So every 250 we would like to register the work order. So let me just choose one person who will do this work. So we can release the work order. And here I would like also to show you the small change. Now the status will be bold and black if it's released and green as open. So you automatically can see on the list which work order plans are released and are okay, and which one you need to still work on. And that's something which also in standard Business Central you can see on the sales orders or purchase orders. So we have every 250, so it would be nice to register those 250, but for that, let me just only change one setup which we have on the counter category. Because I forget that I can register maximum 24 hours today, so I will just remove this one and do 250 hours in one day. So let's go to the counter. Okay, and this was this counter. Let's register 250 hours. Okay, so if I set up everything, let's calculate our plans. And as you can see, I have my work order, which is here. So let's carry out the action for it. Okay. And for that, let's go to our work order and close it. Here is also a small change because we have asset with the counter and we have multiple counters on it, so I need to choose the readings of our counters, and of course I can create a new reading, but I also can choose the existing one. So for example, I can choose existing 250 hours if I need, and I can choose, for example, create a new reading for quantity. So let's say I will just put 10. And then I'm ready to close the work order. If I would not add the counters, then system will prompt me when I'm closing the work order as well. So you will not forget about it. Okay, so this is how the multiple counters on the work order works. Let me move to another feature, so work order sequences. And what are the sequences? In fact, that's something which we had from quite a long of time in the backlog, and we heard it from many sources. So sometimes it happened that you need to do the maintenance, but you have one maintenance which you, for example, doing every month, but every 6 months you should do much bigger maintenance or inspection or whatever it is. So you don't want to trigger 2 work order plans at the same moment. You just want to that they will be correlated and they work together. So that's, for example, what you can do with the work order sequences. And we have 2 types of the sequences. One is a calendar and the second one is a counter. And this is a really live example which I heard from one of our customers. So that every 250 hours we do small, let's say, set of activities. Every 500 hours we are doing different activities, and every 1000 hours of the machine we're doing the big inspection, and we put here. So in this case, if we will set up it without the work order sequences, every 500 hours we would get 2 work order plans which would be triggered, but every 1000 hours, because those are numbers which are correlated and multiplied. So you would have 3 work order plans which would trigger, so 250 hours, 500, and 1000. So to avoid it, we have sequences which allows you to group those work order plans and tell which work order plan should be triggered when. And I want to just also put something which I heard from one of the partners, is that we adding a complexity to the system, and but we want that it still is something which will be easy to use. So first of all, we designing the functionalities, the new functionalities, this way that it will not change the behavior of basic our functionality, core functionality of our application. So even if we added the work of the sequences, it is something which you will not notice almost if you are not needed them. So that's one thing. The second is that we want to bring you the complex functionalities, or that you will be able to handle complex scenarios, but we still want that it will be quite user-friendly and looks like Business Central, not some additional application. So that's a small digression to this functionality, because that's really something which can handle complex scenarios. So let's go to the work order sequences. You will not find it here. You can personalize it. However, this is why we didn't add it here, just to not add these complex things. You can find it with Tell Me work order sequences. So let me just open it. And for that, we need one setup, in fact. So we need a number of series to set up. So let me go for a second to asset setup. Because I also would like to show you one additional feature which we added here. So you can see that I have some of the number of series, right? And one of these which we added is the work order sequences. So you also need to set up this number of series if you would like to use it. But we know how, let's say, annoying is to set up the number of series. So I just want to show you one small feature is which we added, and we added it also in the in our all the assisted setup. So you have a button to set the default number of series. If I will do that, system automatically will set up the number of series which we added and will create them if they are needed. And if it's okay for your users or for you, you can use our proposal of what we have. If you already have something set up, it will not affect you. So let's back to the work order sequences, and let's just create a new sequence. So I will choose the same item to show the same asset. So again, let's put some description. As you can see, I'm using it from the list. I would like to do the monthly inspection for the asset. I would like to do it on number 38, I think it was. Yeah, so let's use it. And you can see in the frequency type, I have a calendar. So if I will click schedule here, I will be able to see exactly the same recurrent schedule as I have on the frequencies. So I can say that I would like to do it monthly, for example, on my very first day of the month. Every time when I want to do it, it will trigger. So how can I set up this that every month I have one maintenance and every 6 months I have a different one? So this is interval which we have. So For the calendar, we cannot change it, so we're just choosing what we the work order plan which we have. And I can say that first time I'm doing it the basic one. Second month I'm also doing it the basic one. Third month I'm also doing the basic one, right? Fourth one, so again the basic one. Fifth time I'm also doing the basic one, and in the end, after 6 months, I'm doing the advanced inspection, right? This gives us little flexibility, but also we know when we will trigger them. So what you can set up here, you can also set up the starting point, which is that if you are not setting up from today, you can set up in which moment we are. So if I will release the work order plan, the work order sequence, let's click it release. You can see that the planned date is automatically filled. So we know that I will trigger it 1st of May, 1st of June, and so on, so on. Right, so now if I will do the planning, so let's go to the planning. Planning worksheet. Calculate the plan. You can see that I have my inspection sequence here, and if I will just plan it, so if I will just do it, let me go to it and carry out the action. So we just need to go and close my work order related to the inspection. I hope that will not be a problem because I already was testing on the same work order plan. Yeah, okay. That's not a good one, so let me just show you on one which I already did. I should create a new work order plan for it. So let's go to the sequence. Because I would like to show you what will happen if we already did some maintenance. So if I posted something, and you can see exactly the same example here, I already moved myself little in the future. So I already closed the first one on 1st of May, and I already closed my second one on 1st of June. So you can see that my next plan date is still 1st of July, and so on. But then we are going to the loop. So I'm going to do 11th, so November and December. That will be when I will do this plan again related to this sequence. So you can also see that at this moment I'm in this moment of the sequence, and of course if I would have all last 10 days and it will go round and round, you will see that this one is quite useful. So this is how we can do the sequence for the asset, which has some more frequencies we need. And this one, so let's create a new one for our asset, for our motor, which we did for a counter. So at this moment, I will do that. I would like to do running our inspection, and I don't remember which one was that motor. I think number 47. We will find out in a second. What I need to choose at this moment, I need to do the counter, and I need to choose which category of the counter I need to use. So in this case, I would like to do running hours. It's automatically set up that the schedule is yes, because we have little less options here than we can have in the work order plan. So we don't need to set up anything here, but we still can. So if you would like to use those features which I showed you in the work order plan, you still can do that. But in this case, I will just choose nothing. So running hours, I said. So in this, when we have a counter, we need to specify to a system what is the difference between the running of our sequence. So in let's say that I would like to do the maintenance every 250 hours, as I said, less some maintenance which will be like small only inspection, and then every 500 hours or 1000 hours I would like to do more much more complex one. So if I will create a new work order plan, in this case I will do the running hour inspection, let's say 250. 250, I wanted to say, not 259. And of course, I need to put the category. So let's choose some general inspection in this case, and some priority, say low. Let's put some resource for that, as we should. So let's say toy and estimate 1 hour. And here is one change which, if you are already using our module, can see. You see that I haven't put any frequency, right? So I don't have anything yet. And in the past, you couldn't do the release of the work order plan without the frequency. But in this case, we have it. We need to have it because sequence will tell us when we will trigger it. So yes, I would like to release it without the frequency. So I have my first plan, which will be triggered every 250 hours. Then I would like to do when we will have 500 hours, so 250 plus 250, 250 is 500. So let's create another one for our maintenance every 500 hour. So inspection 500 hour, and that again will be the general inspection and some low frequency. I will also not add, just to not spend your time of adding the resources, but I think you understand that you can do that. Let me just have it. So that will be every 500 hour. So another one on 750, we will have the same inspection as we had on the 250, because we said that this is what we want. And when we will reach 1000 hours, we would like to register the inspection, which will be triggered every 1000 of hours, right? So running hours inspection and 1000 hours. Okay. Oh, I forgot to release it, so let's just go and release it one more time. So let's release it, because we need to have a released one. Yes. Okay, it's released. So now let's release the sequence. If we are ready with that, you can see that system automatically trigger 250, 500, 750, and 1000 hours. So let me just do the planning. You can see that now I have a new line here, and this line is a sequence because we already registered 250 hours, so I knew that we will have it. So if I will just click accept action message, the work order will be created for this particular sequence and using this particular plan which we choose. So let's go to the work order work order, and let's finish this one. So you've seen already that I need to specify my counters. In this case, I will choose the counter here for quantity 10, but for the running hours, I will register 270. and let's close it. So let's open our sequence. And you can see that I finished my sequence on 270 hours. So it's automatically added those 20 hours to another sequence and so on, right? Because we set up that I would like to do it actual. If I would do it the type fixed, right, then it will stay as 500. But in this case, we will trigger another work order not on 500 hours, but 520, 770, and 1020. And as you can see, at this moment, my planning for the first one is already 1270. Right, so this is how you can link all the work order plans and trigger them only when they are really needed, not to trigger 3 at the same moment. And in this case, you also can see where I'm in the current sequence point. So I hope that it was useful for you and that you will be able to use that feature for you and for your customers. Let's go to something which we also hear from time to time. So integration with a jobs module. So for those of you which doesn't know what is the jobs module, is in fact the naming convention is that sometimes you can hear projects because jobs in fact represent the projects, and you can use jobs for many purposes. One of the purposes is that you can use it for internal purposes, or you can do it for external. So when you will also invoice the customer for your job. As an internal one, you can have some modernization or shutdown projects, right? That's everything what you can set up with the jobs module. Jobs itself contains the set of tasks which you will see, and also each task can have some job planning lines. Those can be either planned or unplanned if we will not, if we will just need to use something which is already which we didn't plan to use on the job, but we anyway did it. And what we did with that, because the jobs, as I said, is the standard Business Central functionality, but we connected work order plans and work orders with a job, with jobs. And then the cost of our work orders you will reflect, and you will see also on the job, not only on the asset. So when you are planning, for example, some big modernization of your equipment, or if you are doing a shutdown and you would like to plan everything, you will see all the costs with the jobs module, and you can use the all variety of the standard functionality which is there. And also want to mention, this is something which you will not see upfront in Dynaway EAM. You need to show the fields first that you will be able to use them. Of course, they are there. You need to just personalize it, or for if you would like to use it for all the users, you just need to personalize the profile, or you can just do the small design here and install the design. So how it works? Let's just go to the job. I have one job in this database, and my job is a modernization of the production line. And if I will go to it, you will see that I have my customer, which is my internal customer. And unfortunately, for those of you which doesn't know Business Central Jobs module, job need to have a customer. So in this case, internal customer is also a customer. But I can set, as I said, a set of the tasks, and I have my whole project. I have some design phase, as you can see, which will cost me $10,000, and I have also some modernization, so changes for the asset, which is motor gear, and changes of planetary shaft, which I also will do. So if I would like to plan some cost for that, I can go to my job planning lines. I can go to it from here, so job planning lines, and I can plan them upfront, right? So for example, I can put that, we know that we will have a cost for one of our resource. Let's say Kimball will be doing that, and he will spend 8 hours on this internal job. And we will also have some items, so some spare parts, let's say in this case, and let's say that it will be ME7, so my switch, and I will take this, of course, from one location. Let's say that I will need one piece. So this is something which you can already do in Business Central, but we will use it. We will use it on our maintenance. So you can see that I have my planetary shaft. Now I have some budget for it. Of course, my project total also is little change. But now we would like to consume it, and normally you could do it with the journal. But instead of that, we will just go and create a work order. So let me go to the work order tree, and let's go to the planetary mixer and my transmission gear, and I have some worm shaft here. I think I have also. Oh, I will just use any of the assets. So this shaft. So I will just create a work order for it. And here I also would like to show you a little change which we did for our creating of one-off work order. So in the past, you could do only the corrective maintenance using create work order. Now you have little more options. So first of all, you can use a set of descriptions the same as on the work order. So I can have, for example, modernization of the asset predefined. I also can put the category that was already there. So let's say part replacement. But I can mark if it's a corrective maintenance or not. That's one thing. And the second thing, which you also can set up before creating a work order, you can set up the checklist. So that's something which we added. So one of work orders created from the wizard also now support checklist and also this corrective maintenance. And if I will click create work order, you will not be automatically moved to the work order card, but you can set another thing. So for example, instruction, if you are using our module related to the invoicing, internal invoicing, you also can do that is work billable and put the customer number. But from this point, you can also take a pictures, upload the files if it's needed. So automatic, and you either can finish, so you don't want to see the work order at this point, or you just go and open the work order, which I will do in this moment. So I'm already on my work order. I have some before checklist, so I will just fill it. That this checklist will not make us a problem when we will be closing the work order. So let me just mark my all the questions which I set up before. So that's complete, but we need to do add the resources and add also that we are doing it for the job. So if you will go to the resources and items, but also the expenses, you will see new fields. The new fields you need to do go and do the personalize, because they are not visible, as I said before, but you can just show them. What are the fields? And let me put, for example, 5 hours. The fields are a job number, a job task, job planning line type, and job planning line number. Unfortunately, we need all those 4 fields if we would like to do it properly. And if you know how it works with the purchase orders, you will see the familiarity here. So I need to say what is the job, what is also my task, which I'm doing. And here, instead of choosing the job planning line, I can also choose the existing job planning lines. So I can say that this is already the same job which we already planned. Of course, it may happen that no one planned the job, right, or the work for someone. So let's say that Daffy also worked 1 hour on the job, and I just need to put the job task and job, and I need to say that, okay, this is my budget line. If we will for example, we are doing the maintenance, but we have the case that this is something which we should bill to our customers at the end. You can use the both budget and billable option as well, and then send the invoice to the customer if it's needed. In this case, I don't have any job planning line because I haven't set up it for my resource Daffy, so I will leave it blank. The same with the items. So if I will go to item number 7, I can put a quantity. I can also put a job number and a job task. And that's budget, but in this case, I think I have the line for it. Yes, of course. So I can just also choose the line, but again, we can have a situation that we also use another item, and that was still should go to the project, right? Because maybe it shouldn't, but you can decide on each line of it. And let me just put this, and of course you can choose different job task as well in this case. So if I'm ready, I have everything. Let's just post it. Post and close. 4 line posted. So if I will go now to the work order ledger entries, you will see again, you need to choose those fields to show them, but you can see that I have a job task and job number for that. So I know that it's connected to some job. I also have in the reports consumption on work order. And you maybe know this report already, but we added here also the option to show related job fields. So if I will just send it to Excel, I will also see the job number field. So if I will just do like this, I think I don't have so many records, so let me just only export it. You will see that I also have a job fields at the end with the job number and job task. So, let's go to our job. And since we put that it's for the job, so let's see what happened. And if we will go to the planetary shaft, you can see that I already had some budget, and you can see that something has been posted, that I have my resource, right? So this was already already added, and instead of 4, the quantity changed to 5 because we posted 5, and I have my cost. I also have information about a new item and new resource which has been added, but in fact it wasn't planned to deliver. And we have also the document number which we used for posting that. If we will go to the job posted line, so if I will just open the history for so ledger entries for our job, you will see also that I have all my jobs as well. You can see also that we use it, and you can see the work order number which I have been using for posting those lines. So you can see all the cost on the item directly when we have the posting of the work orders inside Dynaway EAM module. I should also mention that you can see a new action here, which is called maintenance. And in maintenance, you can see all the plans, all the plan lines, work order, posted work orders, and work order ledgers directly related to this job. So if I will just click it, it's automatically chosen for the all lines with a job which we have. One thing which I also didn't mention is that if you are on the work order plan, you also can do the same what I did on the work order. So let me just open the plan, just any plan. This is one which we created for one-off, but so here you also can see the lines for job number, job task number, and so on. And the same in the items, as you can see, I'm not showing it here. But as I said, you can do the personalize, and if you will do so, let me just click fields. You will find one additional field which is in the header. It's a job number. This is like a default job number for this work order plan. So you can just add it, and then you know that this work order plan is linked to a particular job, and then you can also open it from the work order, so from the job card. So this is how our integration for the jobs works with the work orders. All right. So another one is a measurement devices. If you are familiar with our solution, you know that we already had measurements, but we had partners which say that the measurement itself is work fine, but we also need something which will group measurements, and very easy create measurements and also create add them to the asset and so on. So what we have done here is that we created something which we called measurement device. And for example, but it's not only for the IoT devices can do many measurements in the same moment. So they measure temperature, pressure, for example, GPS coordinates and humidity. So you can see it's already five different measurements for one device. So that's allow us to grouping. The second is that the same measurement cannot be in two different devices. So we block it, and you can have one measurement added to one device, but device can have many measurements. And mainly I see this feature for those customers which using the automated process of importing the data related to the measurement. So you can use Power Automate to import it, or any other software which can talk with our API and just import the data. The very important is that you can use the reading number for this, because it will allows you to see some special view which we prepared. And again, measurement devices is more complex, let's say, for more complex scenarios. In this case, to be honest, I prefer to use devices than only measurements. But in fact, the functionality which was in the system stays the same. We just added on top of this functionality a new set of nice features, I hope. So let me just show you in the system. If we will go to the measurement devices, you will see that we have some devices, and I will just create a new device here. So if I will do that, again, I need to put some numbers. So number of series is set in the asset management setup. I need some description, so I will just put the my device which I have here. So MX chip IoT dev kit. I can put some external number, maybe it's needed, and I also have some hardware parameters here, the model number, serial, EMI if it's needed, and manufacturer code. So this is exactly the same as I can choose on the asset, but I also can put here manually. I omitted the profile code because, and it was on purpose. So you can create something which we called profile. You can also use it, the word category, but you will see that it's could be a little confusing. So that's why we also use, we just use word profile here. You can set it very easily, just code and description. So this will allows you to say what is the device, but it can give you little more functionality. So if you will go to the edit, and you can see that I can create a default profile for my device. So I can do automatically create measurements and see what in fact what are the measurement categories which are in this particular device. So you can see that my device have a category which is latitude, longitude, so I have my GPS coordinates, I have pressure in this, I have also temperature, and I have also vibration. Each of this category has also the unit of measure, so you can see how I track all of those categories. And if I have like this, system will automatically, if I will choose my device, will create the set of all measurements which are needed for this particular device. So as you can see, it's creating me measurements, so you don't need to create them manually anymore. You can just use it as it is here. And 5 measurements, in fact, has been created. You can see that the number of the measurement is also added automatically. It's taken from the number of my device plus the next number. So I have 5 more. I can add manually also measurements if it's needed. I can also create a measurement, let's say semi-automatically by choosing just the category. So I can put a new one if I would like to, and then I can also change the measurement name if it's needed. But I would like to show you also one additional feature here. So when we have measurement added to the measurement devices, we also can set up a thresholds. And by thresholds, I mean that we have some acceptable values, the warning values, and not acceptable values. In this case, as you can see, for my temperature, I already have something set. Because I also can put it on the profile as a default values, but always I can change it. So you can see that I have minimum value and maximum value for my acceptable. So from 0 to 20, my readings on this particular device will be seen as green one. And then I have warnings, so from 21 to 30, it means that I will have yellow ones. And if I will register something over 31 degrees, I will see it as red. So that's something which you can set up just to get a visual option here. And how you can register that? I already said that mostly you can do it for using the automated process, right? And for that we have a field which is called reading number. So mostly we group by reading number, we group the measurement readings for the same reading number can have different measurements. So in this case, you can see that I have reading number 5 and I have my 5 different measurements, and I also have my reading values. And here I would like to again show you some additional thing which we did and which I really like what Microsoft did in the standard Business Central, but for some things we also needed to add it. It's the feature which is called edit in Excel. So not only open in Excel, but also edit in Excel. And if you will use that, let me just open the Excel. First thing which you will need to do is you need to log into Business Central to see anything and to be able to change anything. So let me just see if it's already connected as Martin Woods. But in this moment, I can create a new lines in Excel. Or I can just modify those things as well. And just by clicking publish, I can automatically publish it to Business Central. So if you have a customer or user which doesn't use so much Business Central, but want to update and create all the readings, for example, inside Excel and just push the changes to Business Central, you can do it now. I also should say that we also support it for the counter journal and work order journal as well. I will not go from here and change everything, but you can just have it on mind that it's working now also for our module. So just let me register something for that, and let's register the value. I don't know if it's the good one, but 31. But I think it's. We will just do it today. So let me just only change the dates, and let's just push register. Okay, so I did it for this measurement device, and I just want to show you that here you can see last reading date, which was today at okay, I didn't put the hour, but it's midnight, and you can see that I have red because it's over 30, so that's why I see it. But we also have one additional view here, which is show entries. And if I will go to this, you will see all the readings, so all the reading numbers and all the readings time and all the parameters in the structure of matrix, let's say. So I can see, okay, this was the pressure which was done, and that was the temperature which was at this moment. This was the pressure, this was the temperature. Right, so this is what I can see. I can of course filter this view because I maybe don't need the whole view, but we also have a chart. So if I will go to the temperature, let's say, I know that I was changing it a little. You can see that this is how my temperature was rising. Okay, I didn't do any readings over those days, so that's why I don't see anything, but each dot is in fact a reading, and you can see that this was 19, and this was 31, and so on, so on. So if you will be more systematic than me, you will see much more on this screen as well. And I didn't mention because you remember that, or if you didn't know that, each measurement should be assigned to the asset, so to be able to choose it on the work order plan. And if we want to assign the set of measurements, so instead of assigning one by one measurement, we can do it by assigning the device to the asset. So in this case, I can just set that my asset, let's say this lamp, is also has this particular device. Then if I will go to my asset, you will see that all measurements are automatically assigned to this asset as well. So let me just only open the asset card, and if I will go to the measurements, asset measurements, you will see that I have those all measurements automatically assigned. I don't need to do anything else. And you can see also that we have a last measurement reading and last measurement value here as well added. So you can see also automatically what was the latest one. So that's with the devices. The process of creating the work order didn't change. In fact, you still can create a work order plans based on the measurements and just use those which you had in the past. So let me just only go back, because one thing which our partners also ask us, with the measurement, we had two fields which were called minimum value and maximum value. And if you will go now to measurements, you will not see those fields. So we little adjust the view and the functionality and simplify what we had. We heard from the customers that minimum value and maximum value is not needed. It's not needed to be set, but in fact, in the previous version, you needed to set it up automatically or manually for each measurement that it will work. Now you don't need to do it. The fields are hidden. They are here still. They work the same way. If you will fill them, system will look on them, and you will not be able to register the value from outside of the range. But if you have them empty, now you can register any value for each of the measurement. So this is how it's work. And this is my measurement. As you can see, all are created, all are also automatically added to the device, and I cannot delete them from here if they are added to the device. So let me just speed a little. I think I have last thing to show you. So skill-based planning. That's something which we added for one of our customers as one of the requirements, and we think that it makes sense to have it for all our customers. So every one of you who has a paid version of Business Central, please go, or our extension, please go and see in which plan it is. But it may happen that after the upgrade, you will also need to get updated license if you want to use this feature. So please contact us if you will need it. And what is the skill-based planning? So you can think that resources, technicians have some skills. They can do mechanic work, they can do electric work, and so on. That's true. So we need to assign some skills to our technicians. The second one is that some work orders or work order plans, when we're creating them, require some specific skills, or in fact, operation on those work order plans require some specific skills. So we need also to set this one, that which skills are needed for the work order plan. And then you have two options. Either you will be notified that some resource doesn't have a skill, or you will be stopped that, okay, sorry, you cannot do it. The system doesn't allow you to post because this resource is not skilled for this job. Of course, we tracking if the resource was skilled to do the job. If it wasn't, then we also have this information. And again, that doesn't need to be used, that step, but to see the functionality, you need to switch it on. If you will not see it, the system will work exactly the same as it was working. So how to switch it on? If you will go to asset setup, asset management setup, you will find one additional field here, which is called skill-based planning compliance level. And you have three options. By default, you will see none, which means that the skill-based planning is out of your scope. You don't need it. The second one is the warnings. So you will see the warnings. And the third one is an error. So you will know that you cannot do it. How does it work? So I said that we need to have resources, and we first need to tell to the system which resources that person, which skills that person have. So let's go to, let's say, Kimball, and let's see if that person is skilled with anything. If you will go to the resources, you will see at the bottom maintenance skills. And just for you also, why we didn't use the standard skills. And to be honest, that's because we will have much more functionality related to the skills in the future, and we didn't want to limit ourselves. So that's why this is only one reason why we have the maintenance skills. And the first thing, in fact, okay, I have some skills here, I can assign them, but I just want to show you that you can build the tree of the skills. So, for example, you have electric skills, but you would like to categorize 5 different skills for the electric type and or for the mechanic type. So you can build the, let's say, tree structure of the skills. In the future, we also will much more go and support the tree of the skills. So in this case, I will say that Kimball has mechanic skill. That person doesn't have electric skill. She or he has only the mechanic skill. So that's the first step which we need to specify. And let's do the planning. So let's create some work order plan. And we can set up some, so let's put that we will do some fix for the high voltage equipment. Of course, maybe the UV lamp is not such such one, but in this case, I hope you will forgive me just not to waste time on the different asset. So I would like to do maintenance every 4 days in a week for it. Maybe the fix as well is not the best one, but and we will just put that it's electric inspection, some category. And now with the resources, so I can specify Kimball, or I can specify someone else, and I also can specify that, okay, this will be inspection. It will take 1 hour, right? And now I can specify also the skills. So I can say that for this particular job, you need to have electric skill. right? You can set up more, right? So I can say that you need to have a mechanic skill and electric skill. If I will do it, you will see the list of skills here. You also can see the list of the skills here on the total level or header level. So I see that electric skill is needed and mechanic skill is needed. So it will show you for all the lines. And let's imagine that now I will try to put someone, I don't know if Stanley has any skills, he doesn't. So you can see that the resource on work order doesn't have skills required to carry out the action. And you can see which are the missing skills. You also can see the check skills. So you can see if there is anyone who is missing skills in this case. So you can see that, okay, Stanley is missing those particular skills, so he shouldn't do it. That's only the warning level. If I would have an error level, I would not be able to choose this particular resource for that. But of course, as I said, because it's the warning level, so I still can do everything. I can also simulate the planning lines. Did I click it? Let me just. Yeah, so let's simulate the lines. And on the simulation lines, you also can see on the consumption, you can see if there are missing skills, right? So even in the future, if you will set up the plan that it's triggered automatically, you have some resource allocation, then the missing skill will be shown here as well. So if you didn't set up any resource, but you have that from this date to that date, this person should do it, and from other date, the next one, you will see also information about the missing skills as well here. But if I will just create a work order, so let me just create a work order for it. It may happen as well that you have another skills, you find out that there are needed some additional skills. You still can do it as a manager, add the skills. You also can check that skills if that person's still missing the skills, because someone could, for example, update him as skills after you created a work order. So this is what we can see. Of course, I'm not saying to you that you should go to each work order and check if the missing skills, if there are any missing skills. We have for that special view, which can missing skills. Which can show you for all the documents or documents which you really would like to see that someone is missing the skills. And as you can see, I have some work order plan here. This is one which we created. I have also some work orders. So Evangelia is not skilled for something, right? And I also can see that Stanley is not capable of doing this work order as well. So I should do something with that, right? What I can do in this case, if I have only warning and I'm okay only with warnings, I can go, for example, to scheduling board. And this is something which we also added here, some new feature related to the skill-based planning. So if I'm on the scheduling board, and let me just only quickly just adjust to this view, you can see, first of all, which skills everyone has. So you can see that Kimball has a mechanic skill. This we added to the tooltip. Of course, remember that tooltips you can adjust as you want. And we also added here which skills are needed. So you can see that I need an electric skill at the bottom for that. And if I will try to move it around, you will see that some of my resources are gray out. And this is because those resources doesn't have skill to do it. So I see that Lauren has skill for electric, so I can move it to her. Yeah, she is electric. She is also mechanic, so she can do it. So I can easily know that okay, the other people are not skilled. Can I anyway give such work to the person who is not skilled? Yes, but only if I have a warning level. You will see it, so it will show you that this person is not skilled, but it is still possible. If I would have an error, it will say, no, you cannot give it to that person. You will see an error, it will be blocked. And of course, because you can have a warning, but you still want to have an audit trail that someone who was not skilled is doing the maintenance. In the work order ledger entries, you will find also what are the skills and what were the missing skills, or in this case, if we will post something. So that's also giving you some audit trail that you know if you did a work with the person who is not skilled for the job. And that would be all from that side. I just would like for just a second highlight a few things which I haven't said. It's basically most of them you already seen, because I tried to also just put them in the presentation, just to not waste time later for that. But one thing which I haven't showed you, and this is also something which one of our partners for the customer needed. So in the past, you couldn't print out the expenses on the work order printout. Now you also have that possibility. We also added a new set of APIs. So if you were using the API, please also check that and how it's looked. One thing which is on the list, and I haven't showed you, is a tree structure for the asset location. In the past, it was a plain list. Now you can do the tree structure, so you can set up which location belongs to another location, which also can be very useful for you to just have a much more structured data in the system. Saying that, we finish. I finished just in time, I hope. So, Mikkel, back to you.
That is perfect. It gives me a little bit of time, and Christoph, thank you for the presentation. I know you said it already a few times, but approximately 90% of the features that was just presented, and also the ones on the list here at the end, actually came from the market, so either partners or customers. It doesn't mean that we'll just produce whatever we're being requested to put into the product, but if it links to asset management, if it links to BC, and there's a good use case behind it, please come and tell it to us so we can consider it in the roadmap. The roadmap is still full of ideas for the coming month, but of course, come as soon as possible with your case, and we'll consider it in the future. Documentation, most of you probably already know this, but on help.dynaway.com you'll find tons of information, documentation, and help for setting up, even from the starting point and to the very advanced elements, and some of what Christoph also showed here you also find there. So if you cannot find it there, please come back to us and we'll try to help you on that. So on the next slide, there will be a follow-up email being sent to you. In there, you will of course get the release notes, so you can study specifically what was changed and how does it work, where's the documentation for it. So that will be in the follow-up email. There you also get a link to the recording. One of the questions that came into the chat log was specifically around the recording, and that will also be in the email there. Take the next slide. Apart from this webinar, which was 90 minutes, I know it's a little bit of the longer ones, but we had a lot to cover. We have also made a large set of shorter webinars. So for those of you who haven't seen it already, the library is available. If you go to Dynaway.com and you go to the section for BC specifically, you'll see there is a video library as shown here to the right. And in there you can see specific areas to cover. So far we have 12 videos. There'll be more coming. But right now we have a break, but we have successful feedback on those videos. So you'll also find the videos related inside of help. And if you find something specifically you would like to have covered in those 20-minute sessions, please also send it to us there. That was actually it for today. Last time on our release webinar, we scheduled 60 minutes. We ran over time, so we decided to make it 90 minutes. So we're just a little bit ahead of time here. So we have 5 minutes left. If there are any questions here at the end, please put them in the chat log. But I recommend to stay updated with the newsletters, which you can register for on dynaway.com. And if you have any questions in the future after this webinar, feel always free to reach out to us. I really want to thank you all for participating here. And Christoph, thank you very much for the great presentation. We'll certainly be back with the future webinars as well. You have a good day, and we'll see you soon again.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.